Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi held talks with both the Russian President Vladimir Putin and the President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky, urging the two sides for a ceasefire and to ensure the safe evacuation of all the Indians from the region. The call between the Indian Prime Minister and the Russian President lasted for around 50 minutes. The two leaders discussed the evolving situation in Ukraine. President Putin briefed Prime Minister Modi on the status of the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. The Indian Prime Minister, during the conversation, suggested that Putin and Zelensky should hold direct talks. Prime Minister Modi also conveyed deep concern regarding the safety and security of the Indian students still remaining in Sumy. The Russian leader also briefed the Indian Prime Minister about the ongoing measures related to the humanitarian corridors for facilitating the evacuation of the civilians, including the Indian students. Prime Minister Modi's call with the Ukrainian president lasted for over half an hour. In his conversation, Prime Minister Modi appreciated the continuing dialogue between Russia and Ukraine and thanked President Zelensky for his government's help in evacuating the stranded Indian nationals. India also sought continued support from Ukraine in the ongoing efforts to bring back the remaining Indian citizens who are mostly students stuck in the city of Sumy. Their last conversation took place on the 26th of February, 2 days after Russia had launched the invasion. After Russia declared a ceasefire for the city of Sumy, two routes have been announced in order to get students stuck in the city back to India. One route is from Sumy to Sudza and finally Belgorod, located in Russia, after which people will be transported via rail and road and air to either selected destinations or points of temporary accommodation. Route number 2 goes south from Sumy to ultimately reach Poltava, a 3-hour drive away. So far, India has evacuated over 15,000 citizens through 76 flights under Operation Ganga. And with us on the broadcast this minute is our principal diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who's been tracking those developments very closely. Siddhant, first up, help us better understand the situation in Sumy vis-a-vis the Indian students who are still there. What's the number we are talking about and the routes that India is mulling at this point to try and evacuate them?
Well, if we talk about Sumy, which has been a key cause of concern for New Delhi, there are over 500 Indian students stranded there and of course are seeking for an early evacuation. So today the day started with the positive news with the Russians announcing humanitarian routes for 4 places, which included Sumy as well. But it hasn't actually materialized, given that the ceasefire actually on the ground is not being followed, and it's not safe for these Indian students to just walk past and go to a safe zone outside of Ukraine. Now, 2 routes have been given by the Russian side. One leads to western Ukraine, which is a largely peaceful place, and one goes to Russia, which is just nearby, where the buses are also waiting. But of course, there is worry over the ceasefire not being followed, and that is why an evacuation hasn't started till now, even as we know that the Indian side has been continuously engaging with all stakeholders, both Ukraine and Russia. In fact, repeatedly we have seen last week at the MEA pressers, the Indian side calling on for a local ceasefire, but that hasn't happened. In fact, over the weekend, the Russian side did announce another humanitarian channel for other cities. That also collapsed. So that remains the big worry for New Delhi. But largely, the positive news is the fact that a large chunk of Indians have now left Ukraine. They have crossed the western border, and from countries like Poland, Slovakia, Romania and Hungary, they have come back to homeland India.
Siddhant, thanks very much for those updates. For now, we're out of time, leaving it there for the moment. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.